In Roman myth, Venus was a goddess of beauty, erotic love, and fertility. She is Aphrodite in Greek, Živa in Slavic, Freya in Norse, or Hathor in Egyptian mythology. All polytheistic mythologies had a goddess of love and fertility across time and across the world. The majority of love and fertility deities are female. When discovered in late 19th and early 20th century, archaeologists who uncovered the Paleolithic statues of nude women attributed them with the Venus-like qualities. The name was coined by Marquis de Vabrier. He discovered an ivory figurine and called it Venus impudique, or immodest Venus. But what evidence is there that these figurines represented goddesses of sex, fertility, or love? We don't know. He only assumed, and we are in this mess together. I will refer to these Venus statuettes as female or women statues. In Paleolithic era, we don't see any depiction of people until the emergence of the Gravettian culture around 33 to 21,000 years ago. In this period, except a female figurine of Hohlefels that was dated back to 40,000 years ago, we see depiction of women statuettes. When they were discovered, they were associated with the mother goddess. Johann Jakob Vahofen in 1861 proposed the idea of matriarchy. According to him, in the hunter-gatherer society of Ice Age, people worshipped an earth deity, a mother goddess, and the moon. With the emergence of agricultural societies, patriarchy arose, along with the worship of the sun. Neolithic art, or early farmers' art, have an abundance of representation of the sun. Bahofen's proposed idea of matriarchy stuck with us. However, later researchers and archaeologists were often prudish and likely sexually oppressed. For example, when they found stone dildos, they argued that the representation of women were reduced solely to breasts. These researchers were very Europocentric, and their interpretation may have been influenced by sexism, colonialism, and even racism. It is important to remember that they label Neanderthals as brutes and primitive, as well as contemporary African and South American tribe and their art and culture. Anyway, these figurines were found all over Europe, the Middle East, and Eurasia, as far as Siberia. Does this mean that the similar idea of sculpting style and themes spread over time? Or did several different ideas emerge independently, resulting in similar outcome? Similar ideas in myths also appeared in different cultures and timelines that didn't interact with each other. We don't know why they created similar statuettes, or how many there were. We have found only 200 of them from Paleolithic era, but over time, these depictions became integrated with Paleolithic culture. They were produced for 20,000 years by different groups of people, perhaps even influenced by different sets of rules or values. These female statuettes were made from 35,000 years ago to approximately 8,000 years ago. One statue per 1,000 years? I don't think so. Either we haven't found them yet, or they are lost to time. These female figurines were also made in Neolithic period. I will discuss them in the future. In Paleolithic cultures, the meaning and the purpose of these statuettes are lost. As I mentioned, over a span of 20,000 years, it's unlikely that the creators had the same intention in mind when they were making them. Were they related to mating, perhaps even some form of marriage? Were they toys, educational devices, or indeed totems of fertility, pregnancy, or childbearing? Could they have been self-portraits of female artists? Who knows? What we do know is that they held significance, and it's probable that the symbolism differed from every individual, social group, or specific tribe. We also know that so-called Venus figurines from Upper Paleolithic are portraying women. They're mainly from Europe, but as I said, some were found as far as Siberia, northern Iraq, and southern Turkey. very close to the famous Göbekli Tepe. Dating mostly from the Gravettian period, approximately from 33 to 19,000 years ago, female figurines include exceptions like the statuettes of Hohlefels or Galgenberg statuette that are at least 40,000 years old, and the statuette of Monrus around 11,000 years old. They are carved from soft stone, bone, ivory, or baked clay, representing some of the earliest attempts to create ceramics. These statuettes often feature wide hips and exaggerated body parts like the abdomen or vulva, though not all follow this pattern. Now, I will present to you all few statues that are significant in art history. The two disputed female figurines, the Tantan, around 500,000 to 300,000 years ago, and Berek Hataram, from 280 to 250,000 years ago. If verified, they would suggest the artistic expression occurred far earlier in human history. The women's statuette of Hohlefels cave in Alps was found in September 2008. The figurine was unearthed approximately 20 meters from the cave entrance and 3 meters below ground level. The statuette, sculpted from a woolly mammoth tusk, has fragmented into 6 pieces, with the left arm and shoulder still missing. Instead of a head, it features a protrusion, possibly indicated its use as an amulet. It's around 40 to 35,000 years old. The Dancing Woman of Galgenberg, dating back approximately 36,000 years. It is discovered in 1988 near Stratzing in Austria. Carved from shiny green serpentine rock, the figurine stands at 7.2 centimeters tall and weighs around 10 grams. The figurine of Dolní Věstonice near Brno in Czech Republic is a ceramic figurine depicting a nude female figure dating back to 29 to 25,000 years ago. It stands 10 centimeters in height and 4 centimeters in width at its widest point. The figurine is made of clay fired at a relatively low temperature of 500 degrees Celsius. It shares characteristics with other Venus figurines, featuring large breasts, belly and hips with a relatively small head and minimal details elsewhere. Originally adorned with 4 feathers, evidenced by small holes on the head, it was excavated in a layer of ash in 1925 in the central fireplace, broken into 2 pieces. Nobody knows why. An X-ray scan in 2004 revealed a child's fingerprint, suggesting handling before baking. Was it carried by a child to the fire when it was burned, or it was made by a child? Perhaps it was served as an early doll for children to play with. A prehistoric Barbie doll. The figurine of Mauern dates back approximately 27,000 years. It was discovered in 1948. Measuring around 7 centimeters in height, it was made of limestone and coated with red ochre. It presents an ambiguity, resembling either a stylized depiction of a woman with large buttocks or a phallic form with testicles. The statue of Lausel is a 46 centimeters limestone relief depicting a nude woman carved onto a rock within Abri de Lausel rock shelter in Dordogne in France. Dating back approximately 25,000 years ago, the figure holds a bison horn with 13 carved lines. Some researchers suggesting a Euro-Asian prehistoric religion, possibly symbolizing lunar cycles or menstrual patterns. The figure features large breasts, a prominent stomach, and wide hips, with her faceless head turned towards the horn. It was once covered in red ochre. The artwork was discovered in 1911. The Lespogne female statue dates between 26 and 24,000 years ago. It was discovered in 1922 in the Rodot cave in southwest France. The statue is approximately 15 centimeters tall and it's carved from a tusk ivory, and it was damaged during excavation. If the reconstruction is accurate, it showcases exaggerated female sexual characteristics, particularly large breasts. It is funny to me how art experts know little to nothing about artistic processes. Some suggested that this figurine may feature the earliest representation of skirt, made of twisted fibers hanging from below the hips. But who knows? Maybe the artists made those because it looked good to them, because it was a surface that needed some carvings on it for aesthetic appeal, or it was actually a skirt. It could be even the combination of those factors. The famous so-called Venus of Willendorf is an 11 centimeters figurine, estimated to have been made 29,500 years ago. It was recovered in 1902 near Willendorf in Lower Austria. It is carved from Oolitic limestone, possibly originated from Brno in Czech Republic or eastern Ukraine, raising questions about ancient populations' mobility. Was the figurine made there, or was the stone brought from there? The mantra of this podcast: we will never know. The figurine was painted with the red ochre and depicts a nude woman with exaggerated sexual features. This statue was found close to the dancing lady discussed previously. I don't know how to pronounce all of these French names. I even use Google Translate to help me, but I'm really bad in pronouncing French words. One of these words is the following: the Lady of Brancipu, an ivory figurine discovered in a cave with the same name in France in 1894. It is about 25,000 years old and one of the earliest representations of a human face. Carved from mammoth ivory, the head of figurine measures around 3 to 4 centimeters height, 2 centimeters deep, and 1 to 2 centimeters wide. The mouth is absent, and the forehead, nose, and the brows are carved in relief. Interpretation of the markings on the head vary, with some suggesting that representing a wig, a hood, or stylized hair. The female of Moravny was discovered in Slovakia in the 1930s near the village of Moravny nad Váhom. It is crafted from mammoth tusk ivory and it's 22,000 years old. The figurine from Petrkovice in Czech Republic is approximately 23,000 years old. It's unearthed in 1953 within the present city limits of Ostrava Petrkovice. The figurine was found beneath a mammoth molar at the site of an ancient settlement of mammoth hunters alongside stone artifacts and skeletal fragments. Measuring 4.5 centimeters in height and 1 centimeters in thickness, the statue is a headless torso of a woman carved from iron ore. Unlike other prehistoric figurines, it depicts a slender young woman or a girl with small breasts, suggesting the intentional absence of the head by the artist. The Malta figurines were found in Siberia, made of ivory. Discovered near Lake Baikal, these figurines date back around 23,000 years. They are varied in shapes, realistic features, and lack of repetition in detail, indicating early but developed artistry. Most of these statuettes show stylized clothing or fur. Quite often, the face is depicted. There are 29 of them. Malta figurines are of two types: full-figured women with exaggerated forms and women with a thin, delicate form. Unlike their European counterparts, some Malta figurines have sculpted faces, and at their base or legs are made in such a way that suggests a possibility for insertion into the ground. A group of 5 figurines was discovered at the archaeological site of Buret in Siberia by the Angara River valley. 4 of these figurines are crafted from ivory, while 1 is made from serpentine, a dark green mineral. They're 21,000 years old. 1 ivory figurine portrayed a shrouded figure, resembling a similar find from Malta. Carvings on the figurine suggest decorating clothing, with the depiction being partially sexual ambiguous due to the absence of the breasts, but featuring a pubic triangle. The statues of Konstanki, archaeological complex in Russia, primarily crafted from ivory and dated between 25 and 20,000 years ago. The statues of Gagarino in Russia consist of 8 Paleolithic ivory statues dating back 21,000 years. They range from 7 to 12 centimeters in height. One of these figurines, known as figurine number 1, bears a resemblance to the Venus of Willendorf, depicting a naked and robust female body. The arms are small and placed at the sides without hands, while the face is not depicted. And the last one that I found interesting from Gravettian period are figurines of Balzi Rossi, or red cliffs. There are 13 sculptures depicting a female body. Additionally, 2 small depictions of human heads were found in the same location. The archaeological context is missing, and the exact age of these figurines cannot be determined, but they were generally believed to originate from a Gravettian period, as I said before, from approximately 33 to 19,000 years ago. Most of the sculptures are made of soapstone and range in height from 2 to 7 centimeters. They are discovered between 1883 and 1895. This concludes this episode. I don't know what else to say in this episode. I want to thank you for joining and listening. I hope I inspired you. I hope you learned something.